Good morning, yogis, and welcome back onto the mat with me for today's Yin Yoga sequence, which will be focusing on the stomach and spleen meridian. So to begin today's sequence, we're going to start off by compressing all of the internal organs in a beautiful child's pose. So just sort of resetting and just moving through the meridian lines today of the stomach and spleen. So as we move from our first pose of child's pose into the next posture, which is going to be supported bridge, we're going to activate the kidney meridian. And the kidney being the kind of master organ of all our organs. So sending that signal to open up the meridian lines and to allow that flow of chi to once more flow freely through the body, and specifically through that stomach and meridian line. So for this practice today, you're going to need a mat, a couple of blocks, and that's about it. Just join me down on the mat. Bringing the hands into prayer, palms to touch. Allow yourself a few moments just to connect inward here. And then gently begin to rub the palms, generating some warmth between the hands. And then gently resting those hands into your heart center. Allowing yourself to connect to the breath as you deeply inhale and exhale through the nose. Just noticing how you have arrived on your mat today. What are the sensations in the body that you've brought with you? Are you able to allow thoughts that may be drifting through your mind just to drift into the background now for this next hour of your practice? On the next exhale, lower your hands, palms facing upward, backs of hands on knees. Allow the shoulders to drift away from the ears as you lengthen up through the base of the spine. Gently tuck the chin in towards your chest, allowing yourself a few more moments here. And when you're ready, you can gently flutter the eyes open, coming back into your space. Having just allowed your whole mind, body and soul to become rooted into this moment. Let's begin our practice, starting off in the first posture and shape today, which is child's pose. So, coming into hero pose, buttocks are pressed into the heels. This child's pose, the knees are touching. You drop the forehead down towards the ground and arms can be wrapped around the body, fingers touching the backs of the feet. Or if you feel like you need a little stretch through the shoulders, you can raise the arms forward, but just keeping the forearms dropped into the ground. We are here for 3 minutes, so allow yourself to properly sink into the shape. For today's practice, we'll be working to the 3 principles of Yin Yoga, which are to find your edge being at a 5 if you were to measure from 1 to 10. And then once you found that edge, and very respectfully being at that space, we resolve to hold the posture in complete stillness. So really allowing yourself now to find that space of stillness, letting go and allowing the whole body to sink down deeper into the ground. If you're experiencing any tension through the neck and shoulders here, and you're finding it difficult to bring the forehead down onto the mat, you can grab hold of a pillow or a block and rest the forehead on that. So again, this is a deeply restorative practice where we're not pushing into spaces where the body is stressed. And then once you are comfortable again, just continue to focus on your breath. Deeply inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Allowing yourself to fully surrender down into the ground. Deeply inhaling and exhaling, expanding right through the ribcage. Allowing yourself some deep breaths. Just taking a walk through the posture and noticing where you are holding onto pockets of tension and how you are able to soften through those pockets, letting go and relaxing. Deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling, allowing yourself to fully surrender into the pose as we move into the last 30 seconds here. And gently bring the palms underneath the shoulders, press palms into the mat as you begin to rise up, pressing the hands right down, gazing forward, taking a little bit of an arch through the back here. And a deep inhale. And as you exhale, press palms, raise up onto knees, cross the feet over, and rolling onto the back now. Send the arms up overhead. Hands above, toes being pulled away from fingers here. Nice deep stretch, waking up the entire body. And then as you exhale, gently bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. We're going to take supported bridge, so thereby activating through the kidney meridian. Press the soles of the feet into the ground. If you've got a block or a pillow, you can use whatever you've got. Couple of pillows. You're going to stack those underneath the hips here. And if you're using a block, it has a few different heights. So we can either use this first height, second height, or third height. But I recommend if you have a couple of blocks to stack them on top of one another and then use those under the hips. But again, you can use a pillow here or whatever you have around in your space. So legs are extended, arms are up overhead. Allow yourself to fully relax here, taking a big, beautiful stretch right over the front fascial layer of the body. Allow yourself to completely let go into this shape. So we're working into a couple of the meridian lines here, one of them being the kidney meridian, and then also the heart and lung meridian. By having the arms raised up overhead, you're activating through those meridian lines. Meridian lines are energy centers or lines that run throughout the body, and they come from Chinese medicine lineage. So very much about restoring the flow of energy through these lines, through these meridian lines. And then once more, just allow yourself to sink down, letting go fully into the shape, not holding on to any muscle tension. And again, as we work into those 3 principles of yin and working into the edge of 5, if you feel like you're too high up or you feel like anything is a little bit too uncomfortable, then just remove the one block or just change the height of the pose here. And then allow yourself once more to adjust and let go. Moving into the last minute here of our supported bridge pose. It's a beautiful opportunity to send deep cleansing breaths right into the belly. The chest cavity is beautifully open here, so you can breathe deeply into the chest cavity, expanding through the rib cage, taking a sigh if you need to, allowing the body to fully surrender into the pose. Gently lower the arms down from overhead, press the palms into the mat. Step both soles of the feet back onto the ground and gently raise the hips up, drawing your bolster, your block, your pillow, whatever you use to prop the hips up, aside. And then take another deep stretch, arms up overhead. And as you exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Let's gently decompress through spine here. Be very gentle about your movements here. Don't draw the knees too deeply into the chest. Just gently rocking from side to side. Maybe drawing a circle here with the knees. And then reversing your circle into the other direction. Bringing the hands to the back of the thighs here. Let's take a gentle rock and roll. So just a couple of small movements here along the spine. Coming up and over into the next posture, which is saddle pose. So for saddle pose, you have a couple of options. You can come into what is traditionally called hero pose in Hatha Yoga, where the knees are bent, you're sitting on the shins, and buttocks is sitting on the feet. And then bring the hands behind you and press palms into the ground and gaze forward. So this is one option. This is an option that anyone can take if they're battling with the external rotation of the hip in saddle pose. The next option, and I'm going to do this facing forward, is taking the feet out towards the outer edge of the thighs, dropping the hips down in between the thighs and the feet on the outside edges here of your outer thighs, or so buttocks down in between the feet. So if that is accessible to you, it might feel a little bit intense. So what you can do, and I mean, when I'm speaking about intense, I'm saying we're looking for an edge of a 5. So if you're going into the range of like an 8, 9 here, then what you can do is grab hold of a block and prop that underneath the buttocks. So just to prop you up a little bit. So you're still getting that beautiful external rotation here, and you're getting a bit of a rotation in the knees. And then you bring your hands behind you, palms to fingertips to point to toes, and press into the arms here. So you're feeling a stretch through the forearms, through the upper arm into the shoulder. You gaze towards the knees here, head does not drift back. You tuck the chin gently into the chest, and we are here for 3 minutes. So just allow yourself to settle down here now. Deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Once more, finding that space of stillness where you're able to hold the posture and really allow yourself to go within, just noticing sensations within the body. What does this pose present to you? Allow yourself to be fully focused here on the breath, sinking into the posture, allowing the body to completely fold into the shape. And Yin Yoga is a yoga of introspection. It really is a space or a practice of allowing yourself to go within. We work in these long holding postures to work into the connective tissues, the ligaments and the fascial layer of the body. So some deep work is being done as we hold these postures in complete stillness. And as we move now into the last 30 seconds of the stretch, just see where you are able to soften or let go just that little bit more. Gently rise up onto the fingertips, coming back forward. Come up onto the knees and gently remove your block. Dropping down into child's pose as a counter pose for a couple of seconds. Send the arms up to the top of the mat. Let's take a stretch through the shoulders as well. Let's take 4 big breaths here. And then gently draw the hands back in towards the knees, coming up and over into seated pose. We're going to move into shoelace. So I'm going to get rid of socks here. So feet come forward, legs are extended out. We're going to take the left leg over the right leg. So you're sweeping the leg around, knee stacks above knee, blade edge of the foot is pressed down into the mat, and we're going to sweep the underleg, so the right leg, over to the other side, and we're going to settle here in between the feet. So feet are not tucked right into the hips here. You're looking for a seat over the sit bones here. This is shoelace pose. It's a beautiful stretch into the hips, and we're going to take it in 2 parts. So first part of the stretch is a twist over to the left side. So we're twisting over to the left side for a minute, and then we'll fold forward for a minute. So just allow yourself to settle here, breathing deeply. Surrendering into the shape, breathing deeply into chest cavity, allowing yourself to fully surrender, finding and working to the principle of Yin Yoga, finding your edge, and then resolving to hold in stillness. Gently come out of the posture and then allow yourself to fold forward, bringing the hands out in front of you. Allow the chin to drop down to chest, and if you're able to lower forearms here, you can do so, or else just come into whatever expression of this posture works for you. Once again, respecting the limits of your body and working to the edge of a 5. And then we're here for a minute, so just resolve or dissolve into the posture, letting go completely. Gently coming out of the posture. So unfold the legs, send them back to the front of your mat. If you are, or just send them forward, give them a little shake from side to side. We're now moving over into the right side, so right leg sweeps around, heel into the outer thigh, knee stacked above the left knee, then sweeping that left foot under. And then once more, finding that space of seatedness into the sit bones in between the feet. So once you're there, we're twisting over to the right side once more for a minute here. And breathing deeply into the space once more, allowing yourself to surrender into the shape here. Lengthening up through torso as you twist around a little further. Breathing deeply. Coming back forward and allowing yourself now to come into the forward fold portion of shoelace, bringing the arms forward, allowing the body to fold over And then dropping elbows if that is accessible for you. And we're here for a minute, so allow yourself to fully surrender now into this shape. Gently press the palms down, rising back up slowly, and come out of the posture, send the legs down, give them a little shake. Moving into the next of our shapes, which is caterpillar. So you're going to come into what is like a seated forward fold here. And if you're unable to sit up nice and tall, right onto the sit bones here, you can grab hold of a rolled up towel or blanket and prop that under the hips here to allow yourself to roll forward onto the sit bones. And if you are able, that's fine, you can take the posture as is. And we're going to fold right over, allowing the forehead to drop down. You can bring a block if you'd like to rest the forehead on a block. You can take a couple of pillows, whatever you need here. Just allow that whole belly to cascade over the thighs and then surrender the rest of the body over. Just breathing deeply here. So again, this is not a hatha posture where we send chest to shins. We're arching through the spine here and allowing the head to rest here on the block. So deeply inhaling and exhaling. Completely letting go of any tension in the body. Softening through the toes, the ankles, the shins, the thighs. Letting go of all muscle tension here. Allowing the body to melt over the thighs.
Just walking yourself through the posture, beginning with the toes, the ankles, the calves, the knees, allowing everything to sink down into the ground. Allowing the whole spine to soften, settle.
Gently turn the palms to press into the ground. Remove your block out of the way and walk the hands back, coming back up into seated. Gently draw the feet underneath you. We're going to counter pose in tabletop posture. So coming into tabletop with the knees stacked underneath the hips and wrists stacked underneath the shoulders, taking a couple of moments here. We're going to move now into a dragon cycle, so 3 different dragon postures. We're going to start on the right side, so sweeping the right leg forward to the front of the mat, hands on either side, coming into baby dragon. So we're taking a minute in each one of the shapes. So if you're not able to bring both of the hands down to the ground here, you can take your blocks and prop the hands up, bringing the ground closer to your hands. Knee is stacked above ankle here. Gaze to the top of your mat and allow yourself to properly sink into the ground here. Taking a beautiful opening up into the hip flexor here. Just breathe here for a minute. And then we're gently going to transition out of baby dragon, moving the foot, right foot, to the right edge of your mat. Palms pressing down into the mat. We're coming into low flying dragon. So you can bring a block or a pillow, and we're dropping onto the forearms here and allowing this beautiful flattening through the back. Dropping into the pose to hold for 1 minute. Gently press the palms back into the mat. Step or walk the foot back in between the hands. We're revolving or reversing now into bowing dragon. So roll back on the back knee, extend through the front leg, roll up onto the heel, and then draw the hands underneath the shoulders here and allow the forehead to bow down all the way to that front knee, extended knee. If this is not accessible to you, you can grab hold of your yoga blocks. If you're very tight into this hamstring knee or hamstring glute insertion, you can use the blocks to sort of draw you up. working really to try and see if you can straighten through this extended front leg knee. And then just allow yourself a minute here. Just soften through the shoulders, soften and allow the body to melt over the extended leg, forehead dropping down to knee, working to your edge of a 5, not going past that. Gently rolling back onto the front foot, step the leg back, coming back into tabletop. Just adjust yourself here for a moment, and then we're going to step the left leg forward, repeating this dragon cycle now on the left side. So once the left leg is stepped forward, hands are on either side of the foot. The knee is stacked over the ankle, and once more gaze to the front of the mat. So open up through the shoulders and allow the spine to lengthen here. We're here for a minute. Gently press the palms into the mat, step the foot out to the edge of the mat, both hands now together. We're coming into low flying dragon, so once more you can grab hold of your block and then lower the forearms down onto the block, lengthening and flattening through the spine, gazing towards the fingers here. And we're here for 1 minute. Allow yourself to really settle down into this shape. Deep breathing, really focus on the breath here, deeply inhaling and exhaling. Soften through the shoulders. Allow the shoulder blades to melt on in and down the spine. And then gently press palms into the ground, remove your block, step the foot back in between the palms, and begin to roll back, coming into bowing dragon, raising the toes up to the ceiling, hands to stack underneath the shoulders, and then allow the forehead to drop down. And just breathe here, 1 minute here. Soften the palms into the ground, soften the shoulders. Allow the whole body to fold forward. Deep breaths. Gently roll forward, stepping the foot back, coming back into tabletop. We're going to counter pose by pressing palms into the mat, tucking toes and rolling back up into downward facing dog. So allow yourself a moment here in downward dog. Send the palms to be pressed fully into the ground, heels drawing down, stretching right through the calves. Pull up the kneecaps, bring navel to spine, roll the shoulders away from the ears here, and just allow the head to be loose. A couple more breaths. And gaze to the floor as you gently roll down. We're coming into the last of our yin postures today, which is reclining knee to chest, two knee reclining twist. So lying down on the mat, take a last deep stretch, arms up overhead. Send the toes away from the fingertips here. And as you exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Take a gentle rock from side to side. So for two knee reclining twist, you can have the knees hugged into the chest. We're going to allow them to drift over to the left side, bringing the right hand onto the knees. Then shift the shoulder blades here, so they both pinned onto the mat, and extend the right hand, palm facing down. You can gaze over to the right palm and just breathe. Soften here and let go and relax. Just ride the waves of your breath here as you deeply inhale and exhale. Softening down into the ground beneath you. Deeply inhaling and exhaling. And surrendering the whole body as you walk through the posture. Just noticing where you can soften just that little bit more. Engage through the core, draw the knees up into the chest. And then we gently going to roll the knees over to the right side, extending the arms out. Palms facing down once more, shifting so that both of the shoulders are down on the mat. Right hand can rest onto the knees and surrender here once more. Allow the body to soften right down into the shape, surrendering completely. Engage the navel, engage the core, navel to spine. Roll back onto the back, hug knees into chest. And then for a last time, just decompress very gently through the spine, rolling the knees around into a circle. And then reverse and roll them back into the opposite direction once more. Send the soles of the feet down to the bottom of the mat, coming into final relaxation, corpse pose or shavasana. And allowing yourself this last moment just to let the body soak up the practice, to assimilate what has just happened here. So surrender yourself right down into the mat. Take a deep inhale and sigh out on the exhale, completely letting go and relaxing. Beginning with the toes, the soles of the feet and the ankles, moving up into the shins and then the knees. Letting go and relaxing. Moving up into the thighs, hamstrings, hip flexors. Gently breathing deeply here. Allowing thighs, hip flexors all to soften, holding onto no muscle tension. Moving through the tips of your fingers into the palms and then the backs of your wrists. Moving through the forearms, elbows, upper arms. Completely letting go and relaxing. Soften into the belly, the shoulder blades, the chest. Allow your whole body to sink down into the ground. Deep breaths. When you're ready, you can gently begin to wriggle your toes, gently moving the thumb across the tips of the fingers, allowing your head to roll over from one side to the other. As you gently draw your arms up overhead for a last deep stretch, before rolling onto either your right or your left side for a last moment. And then for our reading today, I have a little intention reading which goes as follows. Let our intentions be pure. Let our words be pure. And let every thought we create be with love and purity. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Wherever you are, be all there. The greatest gift you can give to anybody is to be all there. When you're ready, you can gently come up into your easy seat, Sukhasana, and once more, bringing the palms together to touch. Gently begin to rub the palms, generating some warmth between the hands. And then sending that warmth into your heart center, taking a deep inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, bow the nose down to touch the tips of the fingers. Taking a moment to acknowledge yourself and those around you. Namaste.